I am a Montreal journalist, writer. Been in the business about almost 30 years now, I guess. I always tell young writers or aspiring journalists, you know, if you're in this business to make $1 million, then, you know, you may strike it rich one day, but that should not be your priority. I think if your goal is to help perhaps change the world, you can perhaps do that one story at a time. And I really think you have to have patience and take your time and make sure that you learn as much as you can on the way up. And it took me a long time. It took me years. And finally, when I got my lucky break at Our magazine, an Anglo-Montreal alt-weekly, I was ready. You know, $3 Bill is the only syndicated LGBTQ column in Canadian publishing history.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You know, you just got to decide what path is going to make you happier or happiest. You know, sometimes you got to do some really difficult things. You got to make some really hard choices, but ultimately, if it doesn't bring you happiness right away, you know you've done the right thing, and somewhere down, you gotta believe that somewhere down the path that, you know, it's going to come back and make you happy. I had backpacked across Africa in 1993, and I came back to Montreal, and I basically knew very few queer people, and I said, you know what, this has got to change. And so when I started $3 Bill, it was easy to do in Montreal because people always ask me, they said, Richard, well, how are you going to find new stuff to do, write about every week? And nobody ever asked that about any other columnist. But I was like, well, there's always a queer spin on any issue that you can think of. I don't like it when people are just merely tolerant. I think tolerance is hypocrisy. It's not acceptance. But in Montreal, there's both, of course, but there is an acceptance of gay life in Montreal. And there's a long history of gay life in Montreal. I love that $3 Bill got started in this city because it's just one more chapter in a beautiful novel of queer history that this city offers.
Great.
Later on in my career, when people say, well, maybe you can make more money in Toronto or this or that, and you know, Toronto was always kind of nice to visit and everything like that, but it wasn't home. I was never really ever tempted to leave Montreal. I absolutely adore Montreal, and for me it's like a person. I think bilingualism is not just an asset, but it is partly key to some of the successful work that I've done. It's really useful to be able to use whatever you have in your own human package to kind of solicit the best answers from a subject. And like you told me to, like, not be modest. And I got a Lifetime Achievement Award this past spring from the Quebec Gay Chamber of Commerce. So it was really nice to be able to get an acknowledgement of the work that I did to help young LGBTQ2 people get on with their lives. One of the things that I've always loved about my column $3 Bill is I would get lots of letters. I would get emails. I would get letters from kids across the country talking about, it's amazing, I found your column in this publication or that publication and it saved my life. I'm thinking of particularly one gentleman who now lives in New Brunswick who told me that the column was what encouraged him to finally come out of the closet and live his life openly as a gay man. It's moments like that are pretty special, and they don't happen all the time. But when they do happen, it's pretty momentous. I love it. I'm so proud and I'm very pleased.